At Bethune-Cookman to preview the Florida Classic against Florida A&M. That show will be Thursday, November 20th. So Bethune, we will see you there. All right, my Bears, finally worth bringing up on national television. I feel proud. Their offense currently ranks second in rushing yards per game, third in yards per game, fifth in yards per play, seventh in points. Yet here we are saying, like, are the Bears good? What are you guys talking about? And look, I get it. History not really on our side, right? We did lose 10 in a row last season. Chicago is yet to notch a win against a division opponent this year. But those are just minor details. Let's look on the bright side. The Bears have 4 comeback wins in the fourth quarter this season, tied for their most in the league. However, the combined record of those opponents, sure, 10 and 28. Not great. However, what I started with was the positives about the Chicago Bears. And so now I ask you guys a very simple question. Are the Bears good? You won't hurt my feelings.
Hold on.
All right, say
hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on. Before anybody speaks. Shae.
Yep.
You have this job because we've seen you on SportsCenter. We've heard you on radio. We've seen you sub in here. You deserve it. You're absolutely sensational as a host. That is the worst lead-in to a discussion I have ever heard. I'm blaming you and the producers. How you going to introduce the subject and be a homer, saying all the superlatives that are out there? I mean, damn. You talk about leading the witness. You talk about leading the witness. I mean, damn. After that, it's like, where else is there for us to go? Where we gonna go? I mean, would you just sit up there and say, I love me my Chicago Bears, and don't y'all dare say another word, a negative word about them? I mean, could you do that? I mean, damn. I haven't even done that about the Knicks.
I was about to say, isn't that rich coming from someone who told me the Knicks are going to win the championship this year? Literally told me by default the Knicks are winning the championship.
But I said the Knicks was going to win the championship. What I didn't do was list 10 reasons as to why they were doing this. Say, okay, y'all could go. Well, go ahead. Go ahead, y'all.
Usually you guys do that and then leave me just with scraps at the end of an argument. So now I'm going to do the same for y'all.
I thought it was a great lead-in.
Wow. That's cool. I was just waiting because I just wanted to state the obvious here. It's the thing about what we should lead with the positive.
I love that.
Caleb Williams has proven that he belongs. Ben Johnson's hire now makes sense. But it's the who. And in every single sport, you always ask the who. Baseball, who did you beat? Basketball, who did you beat? Man, football, who did you beat? Matter of fact, let's even go to boxing. Who did you beat? When you start to list, who did you beat? Now, okay, cool. Before we jump to conclusion, we have to ask the who. And it hasn't been somebody that you can hang your hat on, no pun intended, Michigan hat. But that's the only question. And call me the hater? Yes, I'm the biggest realist. Not a hater, I'm a realist.
So are the Bears good or bad?
They're pretenders up until this point of the season. Unfortunately, that I believe.
You can. It's okay.
So here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say we don't know. And I know on this show you're not supposed to say that, right? You're not supposed to say that we don't know. But we get to find out. Because when you look at the facts, because we're talking about facts, Caleb Williams belongs. Mm-hmm. Caleb Williams has shown that the search for your franchise quarterback in Chicago is over. Your search for a head coach is over. This pairing will work. This pairing is finding out ways to work in the most important moments. But then you look at this defense, the type of scores that they let people get in, the way that they let people score late. And you think about the Baltimore Ravens and the Detroit Lions. You lose to Huntley in that way, and now you lose, and you lost early on in the season by giving up 52. Down the stretch, they have important games, and they will get to tell us whether or not they are contenders.
Go ahead, Stephen.
Shae, your Chicago Bears are very good. They're not great. You can't call them contender status yet, but they're vastly improved. Cam is right. RC is right when he says they have found their head coach. Ben Johnson coach. I like Ben Johnson a lot. I'm very fond of him. And Caleb Williams, as I have been saying, coming into the season where it is game 18 of his career, because he started all 17 games last year, 3 different head coaches, 4 different offensive coordinators. Give the guy a break. Let's see what he can do. And sure enough, now that we've seen, we're very impressed with him, and we know the future is bright for him and the Chicago Bears. But to piggyback off of what you said, Shae, The teams that they've beaten, the 6 teams that they've beaten, have a combined record of 15-41-1. Okay? Pass rush is suspect. Injuries and miscues in the secondary. And the offensive line is suspect as well. And even though they won 4 games coming back to win, they were trailing in the final 2 minutes of 4 games against the 15-41-1 crew that they went up against. So again, we shall see. But it's still better than what it has been, and there's an upward trajectory, and they should be very proud of what they've been.
I've watched this team so many times. In those fourth quarter comebacks, those were games we would always lose.
Basically.
Always would the Bears lose those games.
Shae.
So now we found ways to win, which I think is promising
All
for
they
us in
did,
Chicago.
all we did was just
Fill my cup with a little more warm water.
let you down gracefully.
Yeah, thank you.
We didn't drop you.
I didn't drop you.
But we just
We're unsure.
let you down.
We're unsure, I think, was what we came to the point here about the Chicago Bears. We'll talk more about that later.
Which is okay.
That's right. What are we going to do with it? Big Week 11 matchups coming to us this weekend. Huge games in the AFC, the NFC, top teams on the line. When we come in here on Monday, what is going to be our headline, Cam Newton?
The Philadelphia Eagles gets exposed. Yes, I said it. They will get exposed. Why? Ryan Terry, stay with me, brother. I don't know if you're still awake on the second hour, but I'm going to remind you and then take a blast from the past. Are you familiar with Trick Daddy?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Trina?
Yeah.
Well, my lady from West Palm, so she always repping, you know what I'm saying, Florida. And they have a song together that goes by You Don't Know Nan. Huh? So the Philadelphia Eagles ain't never seen a team that had this in their bag. They ain't never had a team have 546 total yards. Not Green Bay. Not the Broncos, not the Giants, not the Vikings, not their bye, not the Giants. You don't know now team that you ever done seen that's going to give you the issues that you're going to be faced with this week. So, the storyline, Philly, I already think that I don't hate Philly. My expectations for Philly are here. But they found a way to come down here. I'm just saying, now you got a team that is explosive. 4th of July, fireworks. End of the year, fireworks. Exposing the Philadelphia Eagles, because now you got to put up points. And we can't be grab bagging and reaching for everything else. Now we have to really see what you're capable of. Exposing is why I say.
Where you from, Cam?
Atlanta.
You know who Bone Crusher is?
Yep.
What'd he say? We ain't never scared. That's what the Eagles, you think the Eagles care?
I like where you
right?
at.
You think the Eagles care that they put up 500 yards? The Chiefs ain't care. The Packers ain't care. The Vikings ain't care last time they went to Detroit with J.J. McCarthy. Okay. So you think that Jalen Hurts going to walk in and he going to care. You think that Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, now you add Jalen Phillips, Nakobe Dean. You think that all these boys, Zach Bond, all these Super Bowl champions are going to care when they walk into Detroit? No, this is the type of smoke that they like. They love when the other team is the team that's favored. They love when the other team is the team that's riding high. But all you got to do, you know how you get the film. See, now they got the film. You don't even have to get it on DVD, so it ain't the last 4 games. You get the whole season. You get to see what Brian Flores' defense did. You get to make sure that Jahmyr Gibbs stays in the block and he's not allowed to get out in the pass route because that's what they did. They blitzed him up the middle. You get to put the pressure on Jared Goff and understand what that is. Oh, and if you watch any red zone tape, you understand. All you need to do is run man beaters. Even Deebo Samuel had the rub route in the corner with Marcus Mariota. So they are not scared about what they're going to see. They understand rising to the occasion. And they got the one quarterback that truly is all about winning. That ain't going to be the headline. They won't be exposed. They will not.
I don't think they're going to be exposed either, personally. I think they find a way, but let's not act like it can't happen. Let's not act like if we go into this game, RC, that, you know what, if we don't see A.J. Brown getting that damn football and we see the Eagles lose this game, that it ain't going to be a whole bunch of stuff and a whole bunch of noise on Monday. We better get ready for that. We all know what's going to be the lead story Monday, in all likelihood. It's going to be what happens in this game. Make no mistake about it. And it's going to be what happens in this game, not just because you got the reigning defending Super Bowl champions against a legit title contender in the Detroit Lions coming into their house to try and take them down. It's going to also be to see how the Eagles are going to react to all of this noise that's been made. And even though A.J. Brown has made noise in the past, let's call it what it is. It's never been like this. It's never been to this degree. It's never been to him looking into the camera and saying the things that he just said just a few days ago. It's never been with him saying, what you're seeing from us is unacceptable. That ain't going to get it done. Yeah, we the champions, but that was last year. This is a new season. The opposition made adjustments. We got to adjust too. We didn't hear that before. And we didn't hear it before because he wasn't playing with a first-time coordinator. We didn't hear it before because their offense wasn't struggling the way that it has been struggling this year periodically. We didn't hear it before because 62% of the time he was targeted, it resulted in a positive. This year's at 48%. The brothers got 400 yards receiving, and we rolling in week 10. That's not what we expect to see from the $32 million man who's an all-world receiver who we have seen be a man amongst boys, particularly against the Los Angeles Rams, where he won the damn game for them. And we didn't see that when we took into consideration what you just said yesterday with D.O., RC, that Devontae Smith is elevated to a top 10 receiver in this game. So not only are you not getting the ball, but somebody else is getting the ball who plays your position, wearing the same uniform that's creeping up or has creeped up as a top 10 receiver. And then we go back to the quote that I had Cam respond to earlier in the show where we talking about how he said it's about that grind, that personal sacrifice, that dominance, that seeing the defender bow his head because he knows he can't F with me, blah, blah, blah. Well, he don't get those things either if the ball is going to the other receiver too. All of these things are being taken into consideration. I'm giving y'all the inside in terms of what I would be writing about if I were still a columnist in the city of Philadelphia. I would be talking about this. You would see headlines walking into the locker room. If Cam and RC was wearing the same uniform, I'm going to roll right up to y'all. After I roll up to A.J. Brown, you heard what he said, right? Could you enlighten me on what you think he meant? How do you feel about what he had to say? What kind of ripple effect do you think that's going to have? Do you think this is going to have a detrimental effect on the team? Damn right, stirring the cup, baby. That's what I do. The point is that I'm writing the headlines. Everybody look at First Take and they see me talking about these opinions. What they didn't realize is that unlike most people, I was a columnist. So I had a license to editorialize and opine and give my opinions before I was ever on television. It's nothing for me to come up with opinions. I could do that in my sleep. A.J. Brown would have given me literally RC and Cam and Shae. Literally, I can come up with 10 different storylines based on that one quote from A.J. Brown alone. Not just from last year after the Super Bowl, but from this year right now what he just said the other day. It's that simple because they're all appropriate. And they're all going to play a role in determining how people are viewing this game coming up Sunday night.
Well, I'll tell you this, from a columnist to a realist, I will give you another storyline. The storyline should be the Philadelphia Eagles probably have the most talented team that we are getting the least amount out of. You have a Super Bowl winning quarterback that has the opportunity to be an MVP candidate, but he's not. We've seen Saquon be an MVP candidate. We've seen the dominance of A.J. Brown. So if it takes me, the realist, to challenge somebody on the Philadelphia Eagles to say, hey, bro, I don't believe you. We need more people. That realization is for you to say, Cam a hater. Cam ain't no hater. Cam is a realist to know that I am getting the bare minimum when I'm watching the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm not scared to say it. And that's the thing that a lot of people aren't able to do, especially in media. I'm going to choose a side. I have been bored to sleep when I watch the Philadelphia Eagles offense. And I know that they got way more in there than they show.
You and Drew Brees.
Allow me to drop a nugget of education. I was a realist. That's how I became a columnist.
Oh.
If I wasn't real, it wouldn't have happened. So let's be very, very clear. When you walk in, you have an obligation to listen to both sides. What'll make me a fair-minded individual is that I contextualize properly. I don't sit up there and act like I know what I don't know. I go to the experts that do. I walk inside the locker room. I talk to you directly. I hear what you have to say. You talk to the coach. You talk to your teammates. You get a perspective to make sure that it is as accurate as it can be. And then you deduce from those conversations, from that intel, from that information, because there's always people in every single organization that sing. Don't act like y'all don't know this. Y'all notice as players. It could be other players. It could be coaches. It could be the head coach. It could be the GM. It could be an owner. There are always people who are singing in every organization. Anybody that tells you there's leaks that don't come from an organization is a damn liar. Every journalist knows you find a soft spot and you squeeze. It exists in every single organization in the world of sports. It doesn't. That's why I laugh when people sit up there, it's the media, it's the media. You know, let me tell you, I'll give you a little secret. Number one of the stupidest things the sports world continuously echoes, it's the media. You know why that's stupid? Because the media gets it from the people inside. Yep. If you don't get the information from them, you don't say anything. There is always people talking. Look at the world we're living in. Everybody, hasn't the advent of podcasting, social media, YouTube, and everything proven that everybody wants to have a voice? Everybody wishes they could say something. Everybody wishes they could get their spin and perspective out there. Same thing applies in the world of professional sports. There's people that can never come out and publicly say anything, but privately, you know what? They got reporters on speed dial. Every organization has people who run their mouths. And nobody's better at finding them than the people who are literally employed to find them, which are journalists. That's how it goes. And so you got to remember that. That's always the case. So you can talk about realism all you want to, but I got news for you. I'm going to say it one more time. I was a realist always. That's how I became a columnist. Remember that.
Well, you became a columnist and you're on TV because you're also a damn pessimist, too, if we're going to just keep issing throughout this show.
Really?
Right? Because here's the thing. And you know what? I'm actually shocked because so is Cameron Newton. Right? You ever be around those people that just looking for the negative, right? The people that say, hey, no, you know what? They go, trust the numbers until the numbers don't work in their direction, right? Like when you look at a quarterback who has 16 tubs and only 1 interception, then we say, oh, we want more. But his team is also 7-2. And in games that are very important when he can't run the ball, when Saquon Barkley can't show up, when they're stacking the box, all he does is show up and find ways to win. But that's not good enough. We need to see more. Oh, A.J. Brown has to get numbers. A.J. Brown got to get numbers because if he don't get his numbers, then we're bad. But that's actually not true because we're still 7-2. We still find ways to win. And now if we go into Detroit, what's going to be the answer again? I remember Antonio Tarver, the night he knocked out Roy Jones, a night that changed my life, by the way. It made me extremely, extremely sad. I was a huge Roy Jones fan.
Put him in the second round.
When he stood up, you know what he told him? He said, what's the excuse now, Roy? So Cameron Newton, I ask you,
before he knocked them out.
When Philly beats Detroit on Sunday, what's going to be the excuse then?
Okay. Are you asking?
Well, first of all, hold on.
Please.
First of all, Roy Jones, what was bad about that, RC, was that Antonio Tarver said that when the referee told him to touch gloves.
Yes, and before the fight.
He said, I got a question. I got a question. He said it before he knocked him out. Yeah. That's what made that bad. That was a very, very bad moment. That hurt all of us, okay? That hurt all of us because we didn't want Roy Jones. We love Antonio Tarver, but we didn't want Roy Jones to lose. That's number one. Number two, you talked about pessimism. You know, RC, I watch The Pivot religiously.
Oh, here he goes.
I watch, because you're my brother. I love you. And it's just like I watch 4th and 1. I never thought I'd be watching 4th and 1, but damn it, I got to watch it. My man Cam is on there. I got to watch it. He got a fan of me. I'm going to watch 4th and 1, damn it. I'm watching it all the time. Watching him pace back and forth before he terrorizing people that come at him and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I see all of it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. What I'm saying to you, RC, is this. You know, RC always got a positive, enlightened message. But prior to that, he highlights the negative because he's contextualizing the story and he's telling it. We're on First Take. Do you know I can absolutely prove that I'm speaking more positively than negatively about people in the sports world on this show by a 10-to-1 ratio? I have the evidence. I'm speaking facts. The fact is they grab a hold of the negative, and that's what they put out. Did you see what Stephen A. said? You didn't point out the 99 things I said right.